The United States right now at this hour monitoring this fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. You're looking live here at Gaza, where reports say Israel has destroyed more than 1,500 buildings in the Palestinian territory since the ceasefire began in August. The news comes also as an American-backed aid group has ceased operations in the region. Now, at the same time, there is strong opposition from Israel to Turkey or Qatar getting involved in delivering aid or any security operations. Look at this headline here, Times of Israel, saying no Turkish boots on the ground. Israel is insistent on keeping Erdogan, the president, out of Gaza. Pleased to bring in right now Dr. Dan Diker, president of the Jerusalem Center for Security and Foreign Affairs. Sir, welcome, and it's good to have you with us. Tell us a little bit more about your organization, your mission right now.
Jerusalem Center for Security and Foreign Affairs is essentially the bridge between the political culture, strategy, and ideological warfare of the Arab Muslim majority Middle East and Washington. We maintain strong relationships on both sides. We expose enemies on the one hand, both of the United States and Israel, based on the America First security policy in the Middle East, and then we embrace our greatest ally, the United States. So we see ourselves really as trying to translate some of the misunderstandings that the West has adopted. One of those misunderstandings is Turkey. Turkey is playing a deceptive game with President Trump and his path-breaking 20-point plan, and what we're trying to do is to help our friends, the United States, understand that Turkey is not a friend of the United States, even though it's the second most powerful force in NATO. They want 2,000 men on the ground armed in order to help Hamas and not stabilize Gaza as per the Trump plan and as per the Trump plan.
We also just showed that Times of Israel report. Israel's also rejecting involvement from Qatar in Gaza, which is also a region where President Trump has visited recently. We know there was obviously a phone call between Netanyahu and Qatar in the Oval Office. So talk to us about, as we look forward to potentially having a rebirth in the Middle East, a normalization like we have never seen, an opportunity for peace, some stabilization, MBS coming to the White House. There's also these pitfalls of obviously very, very strained relations on every side here.
You're absolutely right, Bianca. It's very important to differentiate between the U.S.-Saudi led relationship with the Gulf and with Israel, as we saw President Trump in his path-breaking historic meeting in May of 2025 and welcomed by 12 Arabian night horses and treated as the strong horse in the Middle East. That's on the one hand. That's the stable access of countries amenable to the United States. Very much appreciate President Trump and really interested in having Israel integrated in the region. On the other hand, you have Qatar and Turkey and China and the Iranian regime that are working against American interests to destabilize, to subvert the Trump plan, as well as the Abraham Accords, and expanding that normalization, as you said so well, towards a Middle East that is stable, that is safe, that is secure and prosperous. And I think there's a lot of misinformation in the United States about the very big tension between these two axes. Israel understands it very well, suffered 1,400 casualties from a Hamas invasion, mass murder, kidnapping into the Gaza Strip. And right now, Qatar and Turkey, which are Muslim Brotherhood countries, the Muslim Brotherhood, as you well know, has infiltrated the United States from a political standpoint. Qatar has invested tens of billions of dollars in buying American university, or funding American university Middle East programs in terms of buying billions of dollars of stock in American companies. May the buyer beware is what our message and what our message is, and stability, security led by President Trump, Saudi Arabia, the Gulf, and Israel.
It runs so deep. We'll have to have you back because there's so many layers to all of this. And I certainly appreciate your thoughtful comments today as we look at some of the headlines coming out in regards to aid. But again, hoping for a peaceful and bright future in the Middle East with those who want to be a part of it. Dr. Diker, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you very much, Bianca.